If I was the little girl, every time I see Santa Claus, it's on site. Sup? Jeez. Dope.
Horror Nights presents
Right.
5 creepy and disturbing true Christmas horror stories.
Like, why do you gotta do it around Christmas time? That's like one of the happiest, if not the happiest day out of the whole year. Why you gotta cluck up Christmas time? That's some evil ass shit.
Number 5. Christmas morning at the Espositos.
At the what?
On Christmas morning 2003 in Denver, Colorado, sisters Shauna and Sheena Esposito, who were 10 and 11 years old respectively, were excited.
What does that mean? You know? I hear that every so often. You know, they 25 years old. They 10 years old respectively. What does that mean? Because I've never heard somebody say, hey, they 10 years old, 15, 36 years old, unrespectively or disrespectfully. Yeah, I'm 18 years old, disrespectfully. Like, what does that mean? I'm 20 years old, respectfully. Like, what? What is that?
As they ran to the living room and saw that there were lots of presents under the tree.
Right.
The girls' parents, Mark and Jessica, slowly roused and met the girls in the living room. Jessica, who had wrapped all of the presents and placed them under the tree, didn't recognize one of the gifts.
So, don't open that shit. If I didn't do it, and nobody in this house do it, don't open it. I wouldn't open that. To cluck a secret Santa, and I'd be damned if Santa Claus came in my house and left me a present. I'm not opening that shit. Better throw that shit away, just as is, just the way you see it, with the ribbon and the yes. Don't open it. It's bad enough that you touched it. Just keep it as is. Throw it away, outside.
The wrapping was in sharp contrast to the rest of the festively decorated gifts. It was a box wrapped in black paper and tied with a large ribbon.
Right.
Jessica just assumed that it was a gift from Mark for the girls. Shauna read the tag, and it indicated that it was for the entire family, so Jessica told the girls to open it. They removed the black ribbon, and Sheena pulled the lid off the box, and both girls looked in. Sheena was confused and asked, "What is it?" Then they both started screaming, and the overwhelming smell of death hit Mark and Jessica.
It's a dead cat?
Jessica rushed to the box and looked inside. It was the body of their cat.
Oh, Jesus!
Dismembered. The family ran out of the house and called the police. When the police arrived, they found out that someone had broken into the house through a basement window. In the unfinished basement, the intruder killed the cat, dismembered it, put it in the box that he or she brought with them, tied the bow, and then left it under the tree.
To do that on Christmas. I hope the person or persons that did that either get caught or and they go to jail, or karma come back on them tenfold. I need a second, cause I'm an animal lover, so it's just, it makes it that much more sad for me, man.
Besides putting the cat in the box, the home invader also wrote, "Merry Christmas," in the cat's blood on the basement floor. After the break-in and the death of their cat, the Espositos sold their house and moved to whereabouts unknown. Number 4, the Santa Claus murder.
Oh, man.
December 20, 1986 was a busy Saturday morning at the Burlington Mall in Boston, Massachusetts.
Right.
People had been lining up for hours to see the mall's Santa Claus. By 10:30 a.m., there were over 100 people in line. That is when the people in line caught an odd sight. Walking by them was an elderly man with a dirty white beard, wearing a filthy Santa suit and carrying a red sack over his shoulder. The kids called out to him, but the dirty Santa didn't pay any attention. As the man neared Santa's village, he stepped over the ropes that blocked off the area, and he walked directly towards Ronald Sampson, who had been the mall's Santa for the past 3 years. As the man approached, Sampson was holding a 4-year-old on his knee as his parents took pictures.
Oh.
As the dirty Santa got near Sampson, he pulled a shotgun out of his sack. Before anyone could react, the Santa pointed the gun inches from Sampson's face and pulled the trigger.
I wasn't prepared for this. I wasn't. This is the second video now where I just gotta take a second. I don't know. I need to distract myself. This is too much. This is shit.
So we all know that on Earth, there's more water than land.
That's not true.
How so?
There's more land under the water.
So I still haven't opened up this seasoning, right? This dill pickle popcorn seasoning. And I'm waiting to do another 1 hour live reaction to open this. Cause I love pickles. I love pickles as much as the next person, but to actually put it on your popcorn.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know, and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
It might be good because ingredient says, I don't know how to say that first word. Dill pickle flavored blend, salt, spice, garlic powder, sugar, onion powder, citric acid, and some other stuff. It might be good. It got spices in it. I might have to put like a disclaimer or something in the beginning of this video because that's crazy. Okay, come on, you got this. Come on, Gattor. Come on, you reacted to way worse than this shit.
Sampson's head exploded against the back of the Santa chair, and everyone started screaming. Then the dirty Santa put the shotgun under his chin and, using his thumb, pulled the trigger. The force of the shot completely obliterated his face. The mall was thrown into complete pandemonium as people picked up their children and ran for the doors. Dozens of people were hurt in the dash, but luckily, no one was killed. The police were called in, and they searched the dirty Santa's body, but he had no identification on him. From there, the police tried to track down the identity of the killer, but it was hard because he didn't have a face. Also, his fingerprints didn't turn up any matches, and his body didn't match any missing persons reports. Police looked into people who may have harbored hard feelings towards the mall or...
Damn. Y'all see the damn Annabelle doll? That's it. I know that's the Annabelle doll. Jesus Christ.
Samson. But again, it turned up no...
Why does she kind of look like Matilda? Not Matilda. Wasn't that movie? She looked like one of them... She looked like she could play in that old school Matilda movie, or that what's it called, Sandlot, with the kids, or the Little Rascals.
Thing. The real identity of the killer Santa and why he murdered Ronald Sampson in cold blood remains a mystery. Number 3, the Christmas movie. On Christmas morning, 1980, Dwayne Swanson of Oak Brook, Illinois, was the first to open his present. It was an 8mm camera, and he used it for the first time to record his family opening their presents. And he used it to record other family events throughout the day. On January 15, Swanson took the film to the local photography store to get it developed, and in turn, they sent the film to a film processing lab just outside of Chicago. A week later, Swanson picked up the film and took it home. His family, which consisted of his wife and 3 children who ranged in age from 7 to 12, had decided to have a pizza party and watch the movie. The children had never seen them.
You know what's weird? Recently I was on TikTok, and somehow, some way, I ended up watching videos of Jennifer Aniston and pizza parties. Jennifer Aniston and a few other celebrities talking about pizza parties and how she makes like the best pizza parties, but they're not pizza parties. They're like I don't know. I couldn't find exactly what they were saying. Where it wasn't pizza party. Maybe they had pizza there, but I think it was like maybe it was on some like Diddy type shit, because the videos hurt talking about these pizza parties, it gave a weird, creepy feeling.
I was on film before, and they were excited. They were all seated in front of the projector, and as the movie rolled, the family immediately did not recognize the home in the video. Then the camera moved to a family of 4, a father, mother, and 2 teenage sons, and they were all tied to chairs, blindfolded, and gagged. It shocked the Swansons, and Dwayne got up to turn off the projector. However, before he could, a man wearing a balaclava walked up behind the members of the family, took out a handgun, and shot the father in the back of the head. A hole appeared in his forehead, and blood poured out. He slumped down and urinated himself. At that point, Dwayne finally got to the projector, turned it off, but it was too late. His children had seen too much, and they were screaming. The Swansons immediately called the police, and they took the film as evidence. They were able to match the video to a quadruple murder of the Jansen family that happened in Chicago about a week prior. It's believed that it was committed by a biker gang because the family was related to someone who planned on testifying against the gang. The police tried to trace the owner of the film, but it's believed that one of the workers at the film processing laboratory developed the film off the books and got the murder film mixed up with the Swansons' family Christmas film. Unfortunately, the murder of the Jensens has never been solved. Number 2. The disappearance of Eric Wallace.
Who?
On Christmas morning, 1973, it was warm in the early morning hours in Gainesville, Florida. 6-year-old Jillian Wallace awoke to someone throwing pebbles at her window on the second floor of her house. She looked out and saw a man dressed as Santa Claus, holding a red sack outside of her window. He made a shushing motion by pressing his finger to his lips, and Jillian copied the man. Quietly enough not to wake anyone else, Santa told Jillian he slipped off the roof, and he asked her to quietly come downstairs and let him into the house.
Nope. 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 No. Get back on top of the house. Get back on top of the shits. And get your fat ass back in the chimney and get stuck there. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Jillian did as she was asked, and when Santa was in the house, he asked her to show him to her brother's room, 4-year-old Michael Wallace. He said that he was just going to make sure he was asleep before leaving them lots of presents. He also told Jillian that she should go to sleep, or he wouldn't leave anything.
I feel like they about to go to sleep for real. They about to go to sleep.
Jillian did as she was told and went to bed. She tried to listen for the reindeer on the roof, but she soon fell asleep. Jillian awoke the next morning to her mother screaming. Her brother was gone. The police were called and Jillian told them about how she let Santa into the house. They questioned her for hours, but all she could tell them was that it was a man dressed like Santa. Jillian soon understood that the man she let into the house was not Santa Claus, and that the man stole her brother. As the days turned into weeks,
I guarantee you that same day, she found out Santa Claus was not real, and that her parents gave her the talk about Santa Claus. So next time she sees Santa Claus, it's on sight. Don't ever let this mother clucker ever in the house. Like, if I was the little girl, every time I see Santa Claus, it's on sight.
which turned into months. Michael still hadn't been found, and Jillian was becoming more withdrawn, and she stopped talking completely. Her family was concerned, and she was taken to a psychiatrist. After a few sessions, the psychiatrist...
All right, so I got a question for y'all, right? Anybody that has kids, or like little youngins, right? Like fresh out, or planning to have kids, at what age, or like at what time in their life are you going to tell them Santa Claus is not real? And if you see Santa Claus, it's on sight. If we see Santa Claus, run the other way. If we see Santa Claus, don't let him inside the house. At what point are you going to tell them that Santa isn't real? And if you see Santa Claus, it's on some cluck shit.
Incredibly concerned about the girl and thought that she needed around-the-clock help, at least for a little while. In December 1974, Michael still had not been found, and Jillian had spent 8 months on the children's ward at the hospital. On December 15, a local volunteer, Randy Boyden, came to visit the children in the hospital, and he was dressed as Santa Claus. Originally, the plan was to keep Jillian away from Boyden, but she seemed to be fascinated by him, so they slowly let her get closer and closer. Then Boyden turned and beamed a bright smile at her. "Hello there," he said to Jillian. "Would you like to sit on my lap?" Jillian nodded her head, and the doctors were astonished. They thought it was a breakthrough, so they let the girl move closer.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But it's something about having these small-ass kids on this old-ass, grown-ass man lap. And God forbid they feel something move. Oh, I'm throwing hands. It's rap. Santa Claus, get this fade real quick.
Jillian climbed onto Boyden's lap, and he said, "What do you want for Christmas?" Jillian said, "My brother." And there was an audible gasp from the staff. "Is he at home with Mommy and Daddy?" Boyden asked. "You took him," Jillian said. "I took him?" Boyden asked with a confused look on his face. Without warning, Jillian moved her face close to Boyden's and bit his nose.
Oh!
He screamed.
Do not tell me. She bit his nose off.
The staff ran towards them. Jillian latched on, and the harder Boyden screamed, the harder Jillian bit down. When they did finally pull her off, Jillian had bitten through the nose, and she spit it out of her mouth. Boyden was writhing on the ground, screaming in agony. Unfortunately, the doctors were not able to reattach Boyden's nose, and he was permanently disfigured. Police looked into the possibility.
So we just out here having a noseless Santa Claus. That's what we're doing. We having a noseless Santa Claus. Damn. So now every movie that's coming out now that has Santa Claus is gonna be noseless.
Boyden as the one who kidnapped Michael Wallace, but they confirmed that he was in a different city at the time of the kidnapping. The whereabouts of Michael Wallace and the identity of the man who kidnapped him have never been solved. To this day, Jillian is still in a psychiatric hospital. Number 1, the Hill family.
Even if she gets out, what Santa Claus did to her brother, she's never going to forgive that. She's not going to forgive or forget. So I feel like if she gets out, she's going to be on a Santa Claus hunting spree.
Family dinner. On Christmas afternoon, 1951, Joan Hill of Cleveland, Ohio, hosted her in-laws for Christmas dinner. When they arrived, they were surprised to see that Joan's husband, Jake, wasn't there. Joan said that Jake, who fixes furnaces, was called out to an emergency, and he would be home shortly. Jake also said to eat without him if he wasn't home by 5. Jake's family, which consisted of his parents, his sister, brother, and their spouses, hung around, sipping cocktails over the next hour. At 5, there was no sign of Jake, so they all sat down and ate the ham that Joan had baked. Everyone was in a good mood, and the ham tasted great, but it was a little unusual because it tasted sweet. The family stuck around for a couple of hours after the dinner, but Jake didn't show up or call. They all decided it was best to go, and they would talk to Jake tomorrow. That is when Jake's dad, Gordon, realized that he had let Jake borrow a circular saw, and he needed it at home. So he went to the garage to get it.
A circular saw?
Joan tried to stop him, but Gordon wouldn't listen and opened the door. In the garage, Gordon saw what looked like a slaughtered animal, but then he realized it wasn't an animal. It was his son, Jake. Gordon was thrown out of his shock by the loud pop of a gunshot and the screaming of his wife. He ran to the kitchen and found Joan dead on the floor. She had shot herself in the head. Gordon got his family out of the house and then went to the neighbors where they phoned the police. Gordon also broke the news to his family that Jake was dead as well. The police investigation concluded that Jake had been killed earlier in the morning. He had been shot once in the back of the head, and then he was mutilated. The most horrifying find was that the ham that Jake's family ate wasn't pork.
Ow!
It was Jake.
Ow! Ow! You did not have to say that. I would have put 2 and 2 together. You did not have to say that. I'll be damned. You see, this is why we need to be cooking ourselves, and we know what's exactly is in our food. Have our own farms, our own animals, our own
Subscribe for more.
You know what I just thought about? And I've never thought about this until now. This is probably the most disturbed story that I probably would ever react to. And this is probably like top 5. I don't know what would lead up to this, but it would be crazy if somebody, it was a clock situation going on, and somebody died, got cremated, and used their ashes as seasonings for food. Hey, I like the little, what's it, the violin? I like that. It's pretty nice. But don't trust Santa Claus. You should never trust Santa Claus. The fact that they still have Santa Claus, like people dressing up as Santa Claus, till this day is insane. All of these horror stories about Santa Claus, and y'all still want to put, Santa Claus is not real. If he is, he's probably behind that ice wall. Yo, speaking about ice was in Georgia. Specifically, they were in the Atlanta airport, the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta airport, 2 days ago. Getting niggas, snatching niggas up. Trump was dead ass about that shit. I don't understand why though. Like, they're just trying to make a good, honest living. Some of them. But why are they being deported though? I don't understand. It's because they're not paying taxes or something? Like, why are they not? Why are they being deported? I don't understand that. Like, if you're just a good, honest person trying to change your life for the better, you know, and you just want to turn your life around, you know what I don't understand? How can somebody be a citizen here legally? Is it that hard to become a citizen in the United States? I mean, I wouldn't know because obviously, but I don't know the steps you would have to take and how long the process would be for you to be a legal citizen here. I don't know. Apparently, it's hard to become a citizen here because there's millions of immigrants and people that's not supposed to be here. Oh, okay, maybe not millions. It might be millions, if not hundreds of thousands. Dang. But keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family.